Yo, what up, street dogs? There, Kim. Right, another Turbo Thought. So this one is about self-confidence. So whenever I look at a Mercedes Maybach or a Rolls Royce, it's very interesting. It's like very upright and tall looking and very well poised, straight back, straight lines and edges, Pantheon grille, whatever. And yeah, it looks very self-confident, right? And it's not trying to be somebody else or as something else. And also feel that for humans, right? Self-confidence, I think, is what everyone's seeking, right? I mean, a simple thing you do, right, is when you're walking, walk upright, chest out, whatever. You know, you don't want to hunch your back because it makes you look not so self-confident, right? And also with fashion, right? I think the reason why people spend so much money or time on fashion is because they want to feel more self-confident. And I think the way that American consumerism works is American society, so okay, contrary to popular belief, right, Americans are actually very self-conscious and not self-confident at all. Like even think about Kanye's line, right? It's like, I promise I'm so self-conscious, couldn't actually see me without one of my watches. So I can't even go to the grocery store without a shirt without a team or whatever, right? And so, and this is actually something I found too, is that like even guys who wear watches or luxury goods that are obvious, you're kind of signaling some sort of like hidden insecurity, because if you're really, really rich like Kanye or somebody, Susadai, Picasso, Akun, if you're really, really super rich, you don't actually need to show or display to anybody else that you're actually rich. In fact, really, really, really rich people want to be super low-key as possible. They're not gonna be driving around in flashy cars, right? Because you don't want to get robbed. So actually, you know, I asked my brother-in-law, John Narciso, who's you know, one of the head rim designers at Black Rhino Wheel Pros, and I'm like, his thoughts kind of mirrored mine. I'm like, if you were like super, super, super rich, but you wanted to have the most comfortable low-key car possible that nobody knew what it was, well, the car he's like, yeah, probably like a high-end Hyundai Genesis. And I think I agree. And also the funny thing with Louis Vuitton, I've realized, Louis Vuitton is actually not for rich people. It's for poor people who aspirationally want to look rich, right? Because like, same thing with Rolex and stuff like that. Like the really, really rich people, you don't want to get robbed, so you're not gonna have expensive things. Like the really, like, even when I was in California and I went to the really, really rich neighborhoods, right, in the mountains and the hills and stuff like that, it looks like everyone who's super rich either drives like a Honda Odyssey for their family, and even the most like cool ostentatious thing that a really rich person would get in terms of like a capable vehicle is like, you know, like some sort of Subaru something, or maybe even a Lexus SUV, because at this point, at least in the States or California, Lexus is not, it's like, it's kind of like, it's not like super flashy. Everyone knows that it's pretty nice, but it's not gonna scream at you if you like, if you're driving a Rolls Royce, right? Or a Lamborghini. And so the question is, how does one become more self-confident, or why become more self-confident? I think confidence means like confidence, which means with faith. And so if you're self-confident, that essentially means you have faith in yourself, right? And self-faith is a good idea, because if you want to attempt great things in life, right, you need to have faith that you can actually do it. Like, even one thing I've discovered when I'm like powerlifting and stuff like that, right, is that if you really want to attempt a new 1 rep max and actually achieve it, you must have zero doubt in your mind whether you could do it or not. Like, you must have 100% confidence that you could do it, but the simple goal is actually not, you know, questioning yourself whether you could do it or not. Actually, what the goal is getting rid of distractions in your mind and focusing, so that at that one single moment your power in output can be 100% uninterrupted. And so for me, even like hyping myself up and, you know, focusing before lifting something, it's like I already know that I could do it. It's just like, okay, it's time for Eric, time for you to focus to, and focusing, what it is 100% muscle fiber, body fiber activation all at once. And so even I think the skill that comes from powerlifting, which comes over time, is how to recruit all of your muscle fibers, your whole body, whatever, your mind, soul, whatever, at the same time as effectively as possible. Like, to minimize energy leaks, to 100% power output at once, maximize your leverages, and so forth. And so I actually find that for me, the greatest joy in lifting or powerlifting, whatever I call it, hype lifting, right, is actually when you've really 100% focused on doing something and your mind goes blank for half a second, and then you're like, oh whoa, what happened? Did I just do that? And you know, I get that when I'm doing 1 rep max deadlifts, squats, even floor bench press is something that I enjoy doing. And so the goal then with powerlifting or lifting or weightlifting, whatever, hype lifting, is not even like to get super duper swole or buff or strong or whatever, but it's to have some sort of physical activity or lift or something which requires 100% focused meditation output. I call it the Zen before the storm, right? And when it comes to self-confidence, I think the genesis or the source of self-confidence, there are different sources, right? So I mean, part of it is cultural, societal, like how you're raised. Even Kanye said, like, I think a genius is just a kid with good parents. And so, you know, even Kanye, his mom was she was a professor, took him abroad and stuff like that. And even for me, like, even something that I've been doing with Seneca is he's currently 1 year 7 months old right now. I talk to him as if he actually understands everything, and I don't dumb things down for him. And one thing I've also learned about kids is that they're actually 25% more capable than you think they are. You just have to give them a chance or an opportunity to do so. And so actually pushing their limits is kind of a good thing. I mean, within safety bounds, right? Like his walking upstairs or doing something that he hasn't done before, and I just put my hands around him as like a safety pins, right? Just in case he falls. And actually the irony is, the way to be a safer parent with a kid is you kind of need to do something kind of dangerous with them, because if you're doing something which you consider quote unquote safe with them, you're just going to be on your phone all the time, right? But the kid is like navigating some sort of physical structure or environment where there is actually some chance that your kid might get hurt or die, worse, right? Then you have 100% focus on your kid because it is required. And I think that's the big thing, is that like, if something doesn't require focus, you're not going to focus. And maybe this is also one theory about getting into a flow state, is there needs to actually be some sort of element of danger. Even maybe the reason why coffee or caffeine helps us get into a flow state is, when you drink coffee, it gets our adrenaline up, right? Because, you know, coffee, caffeine is a poison, and therefore as a consequence, your body feels like there's a sort of danger lurking somewhere, and that's what forces you to focus. And maybe even also with writing, artistic creative pursuits, there needs to be some sort of potential danger or downside. So like, for me, when I'm writing, the most type of writing that I actually enjoy is when I'm sharing or writing or publishing thoughts, or writing something that sounds unsavory or politically incorrect or whatever, but still just sticking to my guns and not censoring myself, even photographically, right? It takes more courage to share photos that you personally like, that you might be concerned that others not going to find interesting, rather than just placating to an already likable aesthetic. And so the true trendsetters and innovators are the ones who, it's like they're not different for the sake of being different. It's just they find a certain thing, something interesting or beautiful to them, and they pursue it, and they do it without any regards of how their quote-unquote success or whatever. But anyways, taking it back to self-confidence, I think the good thing is I think confidence could be trained. I would call confidence studied recklessness. Studied in the sense that